Well, to be honest, for me, from the very beginning, it was quite exciting because there was this idea of creating something using this new technology that there weren't many resources for. And for me, just as a software developer or aspiring software developer, learning this myself, I felt very excited because it was a big journey into the unknown. And through time, I remember just getting 50 subscribers and feeling like, wow, there are 50 people who are really interested in what I have to say about this very niche side of software development. And it grew and it grew, and a lot of the tutorials were around one particular piece of technology or one particular tool called Juice that you use to build these audio apps and plugins. And uh, it was about 5 or 6 months into this journey when somebody who worked for the Juice team at the time, Rachel, had actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, we your name came up, and you were the subject of a conversation with the Juice team, and we were talking about you." And I thought, wow, I just hope that they don't hate my code too much and that they aren't too critical of my code, because I'm coming at this from a beginner standpoint. A lot of these tutorials, they were coming from an expert perspective. They've been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years. Here, I was coming from the opposite side. I'm a person that's brand new at this, and I'm just trying to explain my experience and trying to explain these things in as plain English as I can. Not from a really technical perspective. And I found that perspective just really resonated with people, and that over time it just started growing and snowballing into this thing. So I would say probably 4 to 6 months of doing it. Well, one thing that I see from a lot of people is that they really approach it from a clinical standpoint, and they find a lot of reasons not to start, or they get caught up at the first hurdle. And there are a lot of things that I think people think about when it comes to creating content that don't really matter to the person that is watching or listening. For example, they cut out, a lot of people spend loads of time cutting out the ums and ahs and the pauses. But if your content is valuable, people will sit and they will watch through it if you have something valuable that they want to know about. So what you find, especially in my early tutorials, was that I didn't even have my own microphone. It was just, I think I was speaking just into the laptop mic, and the volume was low, and some people groaned about it, but other people thought that it was really valuable. And so I think people really spend a lot of time on thinking about the icing on the cake, and they don't really spend enough time thinking about the cake itself, which is that you just really need to start. That's really what it comes down to, and that once you start, you can course correct and you can adjust your content, and you find out the things quickly that work, and you find out things that don't work. And but I think that so many people, they want to perfect the idea before they actually get to starting the thing. And whereas I'm a big believer that it's really the journey that's where the magic happens. It's the fact, and you don't. It was the fact that I was inexperienced, and the fact that I had something that wasn't polished, that was what people resonated with. Not that I was a seasoned developer who had been doing this for years. So you don't. I think people think a lot about what it is that's going to catch the ear and catch the eyes of people. But what people miss out on is that you don't know what people are going to resonate with. You really just have to get out there, and you really have to just do it and trust the process, rather than trying to calculate it. You just have to start. And the more time you spend tweaking and trying to correct, trying to de-ess your voice and make it, and trying to do all of these things. All of these things are very nice, but it's really, you're missing out on the main thing, which is that the value, the thing that you're saying. If you get that right, people will roll with you while you're getting the icing correct.